Prepare to have your mind blown. The single best thing you can do for your tomatoes has absolutely nothing to do with watering schedules, expensive fertilizers, or perfect sunlight positioning. We're talking about a completely counterintuitive planting method that leverages nature's hidden synergies for explosive growth and honestly, unparalleled flavor. This isn't just another gardening tip, it's the one weird trick that'll make your neighbors green with envy over your tomato bounty and yeah, have them begging for your secret. What I'm about to share with you goes against conventional wisdom. Most gardeners focus on spacing, support structures, and feeding schedules, but, they're missing the most powerful ally their tomatoes could ever have. This method has been quietly revolutionizing gardens across the country, turning mediocre harvests into legendary yields that, frankly, seem almost too good to be true. Let's be honest about the heartbreak of disappointing tomato seasons. You've been there, spending countless hours nurturing your plants only to watch them struggle with stunted growth, sparse fruit production, and relentless pest attacks. Those beautiful seedlings you started with such hope transform into lackluster plants that barely produce enough tomatoes for a single salad. The hornworms arrive like tiny green destroyers, the aphids multiply overnight, and despite your best efforts, your harvest feels more like a cruel joke than a gardening triumph. The worst part? Watching other gardeners effortlessly pull basketfuls of perfect, juicy tomatoes from their gardens, while you're left wondering what secret knowledge you're missing. You've tried everything the experts recommend: proper spacing, consistent watering, expensive organic fertilizers, and elaborate support systems. Yet something fundamental seems to be missing from your approach, and that nagging feeling that you're overlooking something obvious keeps haunting every growing season. Here's the revelation that will transform your tomato growing forever. The secret lies in strategically planting basil directly underneath your tomato plants, creating a living mulch that works harder than any artificial solution you've ever tried. This isn't the typical companion planting advice you've heard before about planting basil nearby. We're talking about intentionally creating a dense carpet of aromatic basil plants that literally forms the foundation layer beneath your tomato canopy. The science behind this method is absolutely fascinating and rooted in millennia of natural plant relationships. When basil grows directly beneath tomatoes, it releases powerful volatile compounds through its leaves and roots that create an invisible shield against the most destructive tomato pests. These aromatic molecules, including eugenol and linalool, act as natural repellents that hornworms, aphids, and whiteflies find absolutely repulsive. But the magic doesn't stop at pest control. The real breakthrough happens underground, where basil's extensive root system creates a complex network of beneficial relationships. As basil roots release specific chemical compounds called allelopathic substances, they actually stimulate the tomato plant's own root development and enhance its ability to absorb crucial nutrients from the soil. This underground chemical communication system transforms your garden bed into a sophisticated biological partnership that maximizes both plants' potential. Beyond the obvious pest control advantages, this underplanting strategy creates a cascade of benefits that most gardeners never realize. The dense basil canopy acts as a living mulch, maintaining consistent soil moisture levels and preventing the dramatic temperature fluctuations that stress tomato roots. During hot summer days, the basil leaves create a cooling microclimate that protects the soil surface and keeps root zones at optimal temperatures for nutrient uptake. The nutrient cycling benefits are perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this partnership. Basil's rapid growth and frequent harvesting create a continuous cycle of organic matter returning to the soil. As you regularly pinch basil flowers and harvest leaves, the constant regrowth pumps fresh organic compounds into the root zone, feeding the beneficial microorganisms that tomato plants depend on for optimal health. This creates a self-sustaining fertility system that becomes more productive over time. What truly sets this method apart is its impact on tomato flavor and texture. Gardeners who implement this strategy consistently report tomatoes with more complex, intense flavors and noticeably improved juice content. The enhanced nutrient uptake facilitated by the basil partnership appears to concentrate essential compounds that contribute to that perfect tomato taste we all crave. The improved soil biology also seems to enhance the plant's natural disease resistance, reducing common issues like blossom end rot and early blight. Successfully implementing this technique requires attention to specific details that can really make or break your results. Start by selecting the right basil variety for underplanting. Compact bush basils like spicy globe or cardinal work exceptionally well because they stay low and bushy rather than competing for vertical space. Plant basil seeds or transplants in a grid pattern beneath your tomato plants, spacing them approximately 6 inches apart to create a dense but manageable carpet. Timing is crucial for establishing this partnership effectively. Plant your basil 2 to 3 weeks after transplanting tomatoes, when the tomato roots have had time to establish but before the plants create too much shade. This timing allows both plants to develop complementary root systems without one overwhelming the other during the critical establishment phase. Water management becomes, honestly, a bit of an art form with this system. The basil will initially require more frequent watering than established tomatoes, but as the living mulch develops, you'll find that soil moisture becomes remarkably stable. Focus your watering at the base of tomato plants, allowing the water to spread naturally through the basal zone. This approach prevents leaf diseases while ensuring both plants receive adequate moisture without creating waterlogged conditions. Regular harvesting of basil becomes part of your maintenance routine, but it's also really the key to maintaining the perfect balance. Pinch basil flowers religiously to prevent the plants from going to seed and losing their aromatic potency. Harvest basil leaves regularly, but never remove more than 1/3 of the plant at once to maintain its protective canopy function. Even with perfect implementation, some challenges may arise that require quick intervention. If your basil begins growing too aggressively and threatening to overwhelm young tomato plants, don't hesitate to trim it back substantially. Remember, the basil serves the tomatoes, not the other way around. A slightly overzealous pruning is far better than allowing competition for resources. Light management can become tricky as tomato plants mature and create dense foliage. If you notice basil plants stretching or becoming leggy due to insufficient light, selectively prune lower tomato branches to allow more filtered sunlight to reach the understory. This pruning also improves air circulation, reducing humidity levels that could encourage fungal diseases. Some gardeners worry about nutrient competition between the two plants, but this concern is largely unfounded when the system is properly managed. The basil's rapid growth actually indicates a healthy, fertile soil environment that benefits both plants. If you're concerned about competition, supplement with organic compost or a balanced organic fertilizer early in the season to ensure abundant resources for both plants. The beauty of this companion planting strategy really lies in its simplicity and sustainability. Once it's all set up, this system just about manages itself, with only regular basil harvesting and, well, the occasional tweak here and there to keep things balanced. You'll end up with plenty of fresh basil for your cooking, and your tomatoes will thrive in ways you probably never imagined. The transformation usually becomes pretty obvious within just a few weeks of getting started. You'll start to notice fewer pest issues, more vigorous tomato growth, and honestly just an overall healthier look to your plants. By the middle of the season, the change is dramatic. Fuller, more productive tomato plants, all surrounded by this lush carpet of aromatic basil that keeps on producing all season long. This method works great in raised beds, container gardens, and good old-fashioned in-ground plots. The trick is to keep the proportions right, and not let either plant take over the partnership. When you get it right, you'll honestly wonder why this isn't just the standard way everyone grows tomatoes. So, are you ready to revolutionize your tomato growing and build the garden you've always dreamed of? Give this companion planting method a try this season and, well, get ready to be amazed by the results. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more game-changing gardening tips, and share this guide with other gardeners who deserve to see just how incredible their tomato harvests can be. Your best tomato harvest is just waiting for you.